everybody. So we're out here in a lovely spot in the woods here. It's a little calm at the moment, but I am getting some gusty winds out here. So not the greatest for just an open fire, but I'll show you a fire building option that's perfect for either windy days or times when you don't want to be seen having a fire, but you still need to build one. It's called the Dakota fire hole. All right. So the Dakota fire hole is a fire pit essentially. It's got two holes in the ground that are connected to each other. You can easily dig it with a stick or a small trowel. I couldn't find my trowel, so I borrowed one of my dad's shovels. So first step is to clear off the ground, and then we can get going. So this here's the main hole where we're actually going to light our fire. There's a big old rock there. Alright, so I got the primary hole dug. It's about, let's see, 1.5 feet deep by about 1 foot to 1.5 feet wide. You want something about that size, or quite frankly a little bigger. I'm probably going to widen it out on this side right here. But yeah, this is going to be our primary hole where we're actually going to have the fire. Alright, I'm going to widen this out and then I'll touch back in with you when I start the secondary hole. Alright, so we got our main hole dug. Now, right up here, I'm going to dig a secondary hole which is smaller. And you want this hole, wherever you're digging it, to be upwind from your primary hole. That way, as the wind comes in, it'll get pushed down into the secondary hole, into your main hole there, fueling the fire. Yeah. So now I have my 2 holes dug. This hole up here is upwind from the main burning hole, but it's not connected all the way through. And actually, at this point, having a big shovel puts me at a disadvantage because I can't get all that handle down there very easily and dig to connect it. So I think I got the right reinforcements here. Oh yeah, much better. So I got the 2 holes connected. So now air can flow into this hole where we're going to have our fire and help coax the flames up. Now we can get to the fun part. Alrighty, so I got a nice platform built down here. It's suspended up off the bottom by a couple inches, just by stabbing big dead sticks in onto the side. And one thing that I know works is Doritos work as a kindling. And I recently bought these Lay's bacon wrapped jalapeno popper chips, and they're absolutely disgusting. And I don't want to eat any more of them because I'm fat enough as it is. So I'm going to see if they work as kindling. We'll just stick the whole bag in there because that's about the best use case for these things anyway. Oh yeah. you can see that the chips have indeed caught fire from all the oils that they're fried in. So, if you have some disgusting Lay's potato chips that you don't like, this is about the best use you can have for them. As you can see, we got us a nice fire going. And a lot of that's because of how the wind's coming in and pushing all that air in through that hole, forcing a lot of air up underneath. Once your fire gets established, it'll actually be down below the surface of the soil and have little to no smoke. Right now, a lot of the smoke is from those gross potato chips. So yeah. Now I hear you guys asking, oh bearded one, why would we go through all the effort of digging 2 holes in the ground in order to start a fire like you would any other way? Well, here's the main things. So if you're out in windy conditions and you don't want to set the forest on fire, this is a great option. It keeps most of your embers down inside the hole to where it's not really nearly as much of a risk of it blowing embers away into the forest, lighting things on fire. It's largely contained in. Doesn't give you an excuse to not be vigilant about fire safety by any means. One thing you got to be careful with this is to not make one of these in a largely pine forest. Because of all the resins in pine trees, it can actually light the roots on fire and spread underneath the ground, smoldering through all the root system, and actually light a large portion of the forest on fire from the soil up. So that's one thing you got to be careful with these things, is you need to be in a primarily deciduous forest like we are here. You got to kind of know your area before you decide to use one of these. So not only is it great in windy conditions, but it also creates an excellent cooking area. You take some green branches or green material and lay it across the opening of the fire hole, and you can cook right on top of that. I'm not going to today. I'm not really hungry at this moment, so we're just going to lay off that right now. And also, if for some reason you are, in a bug out situation or something where you have to get out of an area but you still need a fire to cook with, this is a solid option. You'd obviously keep your fire much smaller than what I got going on here, so the flames would stay down below the soil and it's largely smokeless. Right now, since the fire has actually gotten itself established, there's very little smoke, as you can kind of see me talking through the off-gassing. So, and then if you're smart and you keep your pile of soil really close to the holes themselves, you can take the soil, put it right inside there, and it'll look pretty much like you never were there in the first place. I've done it a couple times, and I've actually lost where the holes were. And that's one thing you want to do. You definitely want to fill your holes in after you're done. Not only does it suffocate any still hot embers, but as you can see over my shoulder here, that's my deer stand where I'll be spending a fair bit of time this November. And if I'm stomping around out here in November, I know I'll forget that this is here, and if I don't fill those holes in, I'll probably break my legs because I got garbage brain. So that's a Dakota fire hole. It's a fantastic way to have a fire, especially in windy conditions or in ways that you want to have a somewhat discreet fire. So yeah, we'll just spend the rest of the video enjoying it. So again, if you were want to cook over one of these fires, just lay a series of green branches across there, and then you can put your pot or your meat or whatever you want to cook right over top of there. Give you a nice cooking surface. Alright, once the fire has burnt out, then you can take from your pile of dirt that you made sure to leave close to the fire, and you can start to backfill your hole. I'm starting in the air, I don't know, feeding tube, whatever you want to call it, the connection, so I can make sure that I don't have too terrible of a void right there, so it's less, a little bridge is less likely to collapse. Then just start filling everything in. See, it's already almost entirely suffocated the fire. There, no smoke, no embers sitting around, especially if you scrape any in. Now it's almost impossible for the woods to start on fire unless you forget about that root thing I told you. And you're just gonna pack everything down. Ooh. Little extra freedom casing. See if I plant this thing, see if I get a freedom flower coming up there. We'll check back in a while, see if there's a freedom flower there. yeah, so that's pretty much everything about the Dakota fire hole. Yeah, like I said, it's an awesome little trick you can do. I've used it many times. It's a lot of fun. Uh, Real nice to use. Got a lot of practical applications if done correctly. So if you have any questions or comments about the Dakota fire hole, leave them down below. I'll be glad to answer them for you. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. Yeah. If you have any suggestions about some video ideas or things you want to see on the channel, or how I can improve things other than how frequently I upload, just let me know. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.